Hello, good morning. Well, I'm up on a day that was supposed to be overcast and probably heavy rain, but half the sky has got blue and puffs of cotton wool, and the other side in the far distance towards Baggio, up in the mountains, is a little grey and wild looking. So who knows what today will bring? But what we do know, it's another wonderful day here in the Philippines as I hopefully inch my way back to good health, which for the last 3 or 4 days, 5 days, sorry, I've been under the weather, as my mother would have said. And it is important that we keep a close eye on our health because it is important to minimize the chances of getting sicker. But that's not what I'm here for today. I'm here as the grumpy Brit in the Philippines. One of my viewers yesterday, I think it was yesterday, commented on why do I call myself grumpy? I'm somehow detracting from my main channel. I tried to explain to him that everybody knows English people can be grumpy old shits. So I thought, yes, I'm a British expat in the Philippines, but why not be like an Aussie calls us? Whinging Pom or Grumpy Brit in the Philippines. So that's why I do it. It catches people's attention, imagination, and after all, you've been supporting me for the last month now, and we're over 300 subscribers, which is great. My thought for the day, though, has an element of connection to the other channel in as much that the subject is similar. Is it? No, actually it's not. I just realized that's not my thought for the day. My thought for the day was, when you decide to have a retirement in a foreign country, what is your priority in deciding upon Thailand, Cambodia, Indonesia, Malaysia, or even the Philippines? What is your true priority? What drives you? What motivates you to come here? For many Americans, my view, they have this, I'll call it my South Pacific Rodgers and Hammerstein movie concept of romance in the Pacific. They dream of the times that they were maybe having a bit of R&R during the Vietnam War, maybe the Korean War, and the connection to the Philippines is maybe through maybe being in a base here, even as a young man. And the romance of the idea of living in the Philippines is still there. And I can understand that. It's like my childhood was spent for a long time in France and Italy, where my mother had hotel interests in and near Venice. And every year we went for 3 months and we stayed in her hotel way up. I think it was about 8 stories, which was ginormous in those days, on Lido di Jesolo. And One absorbed the atmosphere and the culture. Buonanotte, buongiorno, come sta? Un gelato crema prego. Yeah. Quanta anni? All these things you learnt automatically. And here I am, 76, and I can still remember all of these little phrases that I learnt as a child. So a little bit of my heart is always going to be in Lido di Jesolo, which at the time was not much more than a mosquito swamp with a great big long beach waiting to be exploited by rich foreigners and big time investors. And you wouldn't recognize Jesolo now, today. It's nothing like it was in those days. But fond memories. But for many Americans, though, I believe that they choose the Philippines not so much for the foreign experience. Maybe some of the memories prompt them to come here. But for English people, Australians, it's a destination somewhere beyond Singapore, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. Let's go to the Philippines for a holiday. And they come here. They love their stay, their lovely beaches, the smiling faces. And they get a smear of butter across their image of the Philippines. And it resonates. It leaves a film on them like that. And it makes them want another taste of the Philippines. So they come back a few more times. So when they get to the age of retirement, by then they're convinced the Philippines is where I want to spend my time. And therefore, many do come for the Philippines. But we all know it's not just the beautiful scenery, the friendly faces, the feeling of stepping back in time. Sure, it's a very poor country in terms of the population in general have quite a high number of people living on the poverty line or below it. I believe that in America it's about 11.5% living below the poverty line according to statistics. And there's nearly 15% here in the Philippines, which is somewhat astounding, west versus east. And what is established as the poverty line in America, as opposed to here in the Philippines, are light years apart. Now, of course, when you decide to come here and you want to have the experience of the opportunity of meeting a Filipino woman, a lady, a young lady, or someone closer to your own age, you do so because you have a fascination or a desire to have an Asian partner. But sadly, a lot of you guys come here thinking with the wrong one. And you think that there you are at 58, 60, maybe even 52, taking an early retirement. Who on earth at 52 years of age, when you know the national average for a person to retire, or the national requirement to, should I say, in Australia is 67 now. Why would you consider, unless you're a multi-millionaire, why would you stop working unless you really, really didn't need to? Because it seems a pointless proposition. If you like your job, And if you don't like it, I can understand you want to give that job up. But why not look at something different? Many people have changed through being made redundant in jobs. I can think of the thousands that were made redundant in South Australia and other parts of Australia, Victoria, when Ford Motor Company went out of Australia. And these people had to go from working on a line, fixing or putting together a car. They became painters, roofers, tilers, labourers, landscape gardeners, and they changed their lifestyle for the better. But in America, it seems that, yes, they claim they work so hard that they can now afford the luxury of saying, no more boss, I'm going to give up. Well, that's fine. They have enough behind them. But so many come here and think that by starting up a YouTube channel, they're going to add to their income and they're going to have the good life on Social Security, which technically I don't believe they can take an early Social Security, but no doubt somebody will tell me I'm wrong. In Australia, you can't do that. In England, you can't do that, or New Zealand. And I'm not sure even in Europe that you can. So if they are able to, and be a burden on the purse of the taxpayer there by taking an early, maybe a reduced amount, good on them. But again, coming here and living on your own is different than coming here, living with a woman and trying to make ends meet. It'll be better than if you had to do it back in your own country. But just remember, she can be an expensive accessory to your life. Once you introduce a few months of going to nice restaurants, going to resorts, traveling around a bit, having fancy cars, buying scooters, that money that you had put aside when you sold that antique or classic car is soon going to run out. And also, just remember, when the money runs out, it's remarkable how their affection and Mahal Kita runs out too. That's when you really discover whether she was after your money or not. It's maybe a little unfair to say she was actually after your money, but she certainly didn't say no. And you should have been the one that was saying no. So don't be surprised if you find that she's looking for green pastures somewhere else. And don't forget, she's always eager to get the best deal. If you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, press the notification button, subscribe and share it. And you all have a wonderful day, because I'm going back to watch the US general election minute by minute on the big screen. Yes, I hate Americans, somebody said. But we all know America sneezes and everybody else has the flu. So it's important that the best man wins, in my mind. So those that are on the losing side, whether it's myself or you, just remember, another 4 years of what you've just had could be round the corner, or the world might be bouncing back. If it is, I wish everybody a God bless America. Bye now.